I do want to get to the what the Democrats are doing now, because they really have no idea. They don't understand any of this. They don't get why they've lost the working class. They just think it's a guy thing. By the way, they've lost working class women too. That no one in the working class is voting Democrat anymore. So yes, they have a male issue, but it's separate and apart from their working class issue, because rich men don't like them. Poor men don't like them. Middle class men don't like them. Only the super high educated rich men are voting Democrat. Okay, so here's their handbook on men. Same reporter, Shane Goldmacher. The headline: 6 months later, Democrats are still searching for the path forward. They start off with this opening. One longtime Democratic researcher has a technique she leans on when nudging voters to share their deepest, darkest feelings about politics. She asks them to compare America's two major parties to animals. After around 250 focus groups of swing voters, a few patterns have emerged. Republicans are seen as apex predators like lions, tigers, sharks, beasts that take what they want and when they want it. Democrats are typically tagged as tortoises, slugs, or sloths, slow, plodding, passive. One guy said, a deer in headlights. You stand there and you see the car coming, but you're going to keep standing there and get hit with it anyway. Okay, they go on to talk about what the Dems are now doing. They've gathered at luxury hotels, Batya, to discuss how to win back the working class voters, commissioning new projects that can read like anthropological studies of people from faraway places. The luxury hotel they recently gathered at in February was the Lansdowne Resort in Leesburg, Virginia. It's nestled into 500 acres overlooking the picturesque Potomac River. 45 holes of championship golf, water sports, tennis, and the 12,000 square foot spa Mineral, which offers an enriching, restorative environment that emphasizes wellness and a deep connection to nature. That's how they're going to try to win back the working class, by their luxury retreat with their enriching, restorative environment, emphasizing wellness and a deep connection to nature. The prospectus for one new $20 million effort obtained by the Times aims to reverse the erosion of Democrat support among young men, especially online. Codenamed SAM, short for Speaking with American Men, a strategic plan. It promises investment to, quote, study the syntax, language, and content that gains attention and virality in these spaces. They're going to study the syntax, Batya, and Bob's your uncle in the midterms in 2028. What do you make of it?
It's just too good to be true. It reminds me of the DNC, where you literally had millionaires sitting in like the box seats looking down on, the regular people. And then, of course, the stage was just a parade of multimillionaire after multimillionaire after multimillionaire talking about their joy. And it was like, let them eat the joy of Oprah Winfrey, right? Like, this is what working class people are supposed to put in their chicken pot at the end of the day. These people have no idea what regular people sound like, no idea what their concerns are. And I just keep coming back to it stems from contempt. They do not love the American people, but they believe they have the right to rule over them because they have fancy degrees and they're very rich. And so they want the power, and they're willing to say whatever they can to get the power, but the power is very self-serving. It's just because they believe they should be in that position. They have no idea what to do with it, and so they have no idea what to offer the American people to get elected. And honestly, it is very, very simple. It doesn't cost $20 million. I'll tell it to them for free. Like, if you moderate on immigration, you moderate on trans issues, you just get back to the center, you embrace tariffs, because that is what working people like, because it reshores manufacturing, you will be, cooking again. It's so obvious. But their donor class and their activist class, who they are all terrified of, are on the totally wrong side of all of this stuff. They support open borders, environmental extremism, trans extremism. And so because they cannot bear to say no to the people they're terrified of, they end up wanting to trick working class people or men into giving them power again so they can keep pleasing the elites in the donor class and in the activist class, rather than loving the American people, which is honestly, that is Donald Trump's secret sauce. He loves the people and he wants to give them what they want.
Yeah, and he's been a player in this rigged system for a long time when he knows exactly how it's done, which is why people trust him. He owned that all three times he ran, and seemed to have an authentic message around it, which is like, I've paid them all. I know how this works, but I'll be in there beholden to no one. Chris Arnaud, who's been on this show, he worked on Wall Street for 20 years, and then he decided to kind of chuck it and begin traveling and to try to better understand the country. It's a great story. He reacted to this story online with a great post saying, like in the first person, heading to the local Twin Peaks, gonna ask around of the men, what syntax, language, and content gets your attention until I get punched out? What syntax gets your attention? Here he was when he came on the show, just by way of, context, on somebody who actually has made the effort to understand the working class, like yourself, who's written a whole book about it. And what his messaging was, they should spend some time with you. They should spend some time with Chris Arnaud. Here he is. Listen.
The only answer they ever have is the old, learn to code or move. We've destroyed your community. We shipped your jobs overseas. Then we tell them, oh, I'm sorry. I guess just now that your drug town is filling up with drugs and in despair, I guess just move or learn to code. And that's extraordinarily offensive. Place matters to people. It's some of the few things they have that really, it's meaningful to them in a way that's not meaningful to the front row. Forcing people to become economic migrants in their own country because the policies that benefit the wealthy, that's just offensive. And so, the other solution is, just get more education. And, not everybody wants to just get more education. It's not how everybody thinks, is that we should just, be careerists running around building resumes. Some people just want to live life and, and define themselves through things like family, faith, and nation.
It's so refreshing to hear it said so clearly. I don't know that the Democrat Party can get back to that. They've run so far afield.
Yeah, and if somebody was going to pick up the mantle, now would be the moment. Chris Arnaud is amazing. I call him the Rebbe, which in Hebrew means like, the one who influences in a positive way, who you look up to as a teacher. And he's so incredible. And his book Dignity is so beautiful. And he really got there even before I did and was canceled for it even before I was. There's a lot of people like him and me who were trying very lovingly from within the left to say, guys, you're missing the real story. Like, this country is not a white supremacy anymore. It's a country with a huge class divide between the elites and the working class. And we shouldn't be talking about working class people with contempt. We should be talking about them with respect and gratitude and making sure that they can achieve the most modest version of the American dream, stuff that we take for granted in the elites. And they just did not want to hear it. And it's a really good question. Can they pull it back? And I think even someone like Ro Khanna, for example, who will often say really smart things about economic populism from the left. Like he's given Trump like a fair shot. He's less aggressive. And then he'll turn around and on trans be completely insane. Or you'll have
and
other
look what happened to
politicians.
Seth Moulton. Seth Moulton came out.
Seth Moulton, exactly.
Like, it's not fair what's happening to the girls from Massachusetts. I don't want my daughters playing against boys. Then he got rained down on by the left and quickly changed. Never mind. That's not my issue anymore. Forget it.
Right. Just kidding. Right. And, on the men thing, it's like when I first read this story, my first instinct was, you mean to tell me that calling young men rapists for 10 years didn't drive them into your arms and into your party?
Or I'm just going to say it, putting like enormously obese women on the cover of Sports Illustrated, or men posing as women on the cover of Sports Illustrated, or 80-year-old women. I'm sorry, there's just like an attempt to denormalize being a red-blooded American male.
Yeah, exactly. And of course, you can't have a functioning society without a healthy respect for masculinity. I mean, it's like, what are women supposed to do? Right? Like, women also want men to be like that. And I think that's where you're seeing the sort of the erosion of normie support, like normal ideas, like that, the ideal for a man is to be a defender and a protector and strong and strong in his family, and that none of that is violent or vile or disrespectful to women, that this is actually something that women themselves want and crave and respect and love. And, the idea that somehow that is evil or bad, This idea of toxic masculinity is very tied to the economy that the Democrats built, first with Bill Clinton and NAFTA, shipping all of these jobs that require physicality and masculinity and brawn overseas, and then with President Obama, who defunded vocational training, and then with Joe Biden, who opened the border. Suddenly you have 5 million, 10 million illegals competing in construction work and devaluing the wages in those jobs. The language of toxic masculinity was an alibi for the dispossession of the working class American male. It justified it. It allowed Democrats to say they don't deserve good jobs because masculinity itself is poisonous. And of course, nothing could be further from the truth.
This July, there is a global summit of BRICS nations in Rio de Janeiro. The bloc of emerging superpowers, including China, Russia, India, and Iran, are meeting with the goal of displacing the US dollar as the global currency. They're calling this the Rio Reset. As BRICS nations push forward with their plans, some worry global demand for US dollars will decrease, bringing down the value of the dollars in your savings. While this transition, if it happens, would not happen overnight, the Rio Reset could mark a pivotal moment. So learn if diversifying your savings into gold is right for you. Birch Gold Group can help you move your hard-earned savings into a tax-sheltered IRA in precious metals. Claim your free info kit on gold by texting MK to the number 989898. With an A+ rating from the Better Business Bureau and tens of thousands of happy customers, let Birch Gold arm you with a free, no-obligation info kit on owning gold before July and the Rio Reset. Text MK to the number 989898 today. Thanks so much for watching. If you like what you just saw, hit the subscribe button for more clips and full episodes.